What is an epistle?
Simply put, an epistle is a letter typically from one of the apostles, most notably from St. Paul, who was a prolific writer, and St. Peter, of course, wrote well and extensively, and then, of course, St. John, the apostle who wrote the gospel, and he sent out several letters of this sort. So it's good to be able to go through and consider the writing of these apostles, and they were written to the various churches. So when we look at the writings of St. Paul, for instance, he wrote a rather lengthy letter to the church being the people of God, the gathering of God's people in Rome, then explained various aspects of what he was encountering in his travels, how God was working with him in terms of bringing the gospel to others, and the various kinds of ways in which Paul, was admonishing, correcting, teaching, and bringing about a very kind sense of understanding how to respond to the new religion that was being founded because of Jesus Christ, who suffered and died, risen from the dead, and now gloriously alive at the right hand of the Father. So the epistles are written with a sense of being thought-provoking and explanatory of faith and matters of faith, and then explanatory of how we are to live our lives based on these teachings. St. Paul, and obviously St. Paul, St. Peter, St. John, these tremendous leaders of our faith all had something very important to say, and they said it in those first 102 or 3 years that we had between the time that Scripture was codified. The fact of the matter was that the writings of the apostles, these epistles, were basically the New Testament, as it were, because this was the way in which they came to understand and know just exactly what the apostles were teaching. And the apostles then had a standardized way of teaching that was important for the way in which the people were learning.